And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, finally doing the Emmy showcase. She released about, what, 3 or 4 days ago? And your boy OP's finally getting around to do it. And this is a character that's very exciting. I'm actually pretty hyped to try her out, because this is one of the first characters that actually has a new mechanic coming to Grand Summoners. Of course, later on down the line, we'll have a lot more, like Fire or Veil, the upcoming Blood Knights, then of course, you know, Emperor's crazy slot mechanic. But Emmy is the first boss character on Global, and I want to see how well they executed this mechanic, because to me personally, the little bit I've seen, you guys already know some of my thoughts. I don't have too high of expectations, but I'm hoping that this character at least seems somewhat decent. But of course, for this video, I couldn't have done it alone, because I didn't pull Emmy, but thankfully one of you guys in the community did, and that was the man GoldenEye168. He came through and said that I could use his Emmy, so of course your boy's gotta show her off. So big thanks to him for allowing me to do this showcase. And here she is, awoken Emmy. So Emmy has a few things, of course, going for her. Not only does she have her boss form, but she also has her regular kit, which I want to say is a little bit underwhelming. So we have her skill, which is just a magic resist down. We have her art, which is increasing everybody's dark units damage by 60%, which is pretty solid. And then you have her true art, which her true art is literally here just to activate Revelation, which Revelation is her boss form. Now, once you activate Revelation, you get access to these. The mega art, which is technically your true art once you transform, and then you get access to all the mega skills. So we all know how art gauge works in Grand Summoners. You fill your art gauge by using Archgen equips, by getting BE or using Archgeners. But the way how it works for Emmy once she's in Revelation mode is that she has to use these skills. And once she uses a skill, she will gain an alt orb or a mega art orb, like how bosses do, in order for her to use her actual art. So her mega skill, which this is what her regular skill becomes, just does 35,000% dark damage magic. The thing is about this is that this just does damage. It does not fill the orb from what I've been told. Morph skill 1, Behemoth Claw. This is an 80% chance of blinding. This will fill the orb by 1. You also have Morph skill 2, which increases your damage to enemy by 50%. This is the multiplicative debuff that Mako and everybody else applies. This will also fill your Mega Art Orb by 1. And then you have Morph Skill 3, which this will reduce the enemy's crit resistance by 100% for 20 seconds. This will also fill the Mega Art Orb by 1. So you need to use these skills 5 times in order for you to get access to your Mega Art. Once you have your Mega Art available, you can use it, and it does 120,000% dark damage magic. You increase all allies' arts damage by 100% for 15 seconds. So you can see this kit is kind of loaded. By the way, whenever you get her morph skills, this will change her equipment. So her first equipment slot, second equipment slot, and third equipment slot will become morph skills, and you will no longer have access to those equipments until she loses her revelation mode, which is within 70 seconds. Her first ability is Human Kill level 5. Damage to humans 50% up. Her second ability is Physical Resistance level 2, and damage up to blinded enemies, damage 50% up when the enemy is blinded. Of course, she can inflict blind with her first morph skill, so this will be beneficial. As for her equips, what I recommend running is something similar to this. The Alma's hats are always a great option for the 5-star magic due to the fact that they give you art gauge, but if you also want to run something like a True Exceed Zex, I'm pretty sure True Exceed Zex passive will still be active even whenever she's in Revelation form, so if she would ever drop to near death, she would of course do the crazy amounts of lifesteal and be able to just become practically unkillable at that point. Not only does True Exceed Zex, of course, her own true weapons are really great, both of them. Highly recommend it if you're planning on using Emmy for a long period of time. Will definitely benefit you quite a bit. As for the crest you can use on this girl, attack up, but also crit damage up will be really nice due to the fact that she does lower crit resistance, so she is able to crit the boss, so crit damage would be nice. Attack up, Promise of the Funeral God. I wouldn't really recommend going equipment CT or skill CT, because from what I understand, that doesn't change the morph skill like cooldowns. And of course, the man came through with the animations. As you see, this is what she'll be doing, just some orb attacks. I've seen this before. Looks really nice. The skill, I like this skill a lot. This whole punching and then the Kamehameha type beat, I like it a lot. Her art reminds me of some Majin Buu type stuff, and then her revelations. Now, one thing I like is that how the camera actually jumps up right here. I didn't even notice that, but whenever you click revelation, you see the camera actually pans out. That's a nice little touch. And as you see, this is her model in game. This is what it looks like. Looks kind of crazy, I'm not gonna cap. And as you see here, we get access to all the morph skills, mega skill, and the mega art. So morph skill 1 is going to just deal some regular damage, whatever. Morph skill 2, just doing the thing, ball attacks again. Looks okay, you know what I'm saying? Morph skill 3, I think, is more of an eruption. Oh no, these are the lasers, yeah. But one thing you can notice, do you already see one of the problems that I have with this character? It's the fact that she's so freaking slow. This mega skill looks nice though, because she just like powers up and she's just dealing damage the whole time while she's doing it. And the mega art is just like her literally like powering up and throwing all of her energy at whatever she's fighting, which I think looks really cool. Then revelation ends, as you see there. She just turns off her revelation and goes back down to her human form. I think like for a boss character, this looks pretty nice, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know what I would give it. Like out of 10, I'm not for sure. Like for this to be the first one, I think her animations do look nice, but I also feel like that just the fact that they're so slow. Because I'm gonna say Emmy's animations are about an 8, 8.5. Maybe that's a little bit too generous for me, but yeah, I would say about an 8. I wouldn't go any lower than that. The first things first, whenever you load into a quest, main priority is to get this girl on Revelation. If you are not in Revelations, you're worthless. You're literally a trash unit. No one wants to use you at all. Once you're in Revelations, you get a little bit more spicier. You know what I'm saying? You get access to your 3 morph skills, which is, you know, your main way of doing it. But this is where the problem that I have with Emmy comes in. The fact that each of her morph skills takes so long to come out that it just sucks if you don't have her true weapons. If you have her true weapons, I think it might be a different story, but you only have 70 seconds and the morph skills take so long to happen that you're cutting it so close because the duration of your revelation is usually about to run out whenever you go to use your mega art. And I really don't like, you know, how close it is sometimes because it's like, oh snap, you know, I could just lose whatever. Also, another thing to point out too, I don't like this pop-up animation. I'm just gonna say it now. It doesn't look good to me. It's too sudden, you know, there's no build-up, no suspense to it. It's no like slash or anything. It's just boom, we're here. So the main issue I have with this unit that I've stated in countless other videos is that her speed is too slow. Not only that, I think that she's such a high investment unit because if you don't have her true weapons, man, I feel like that she's just so low tier. She really is. If I had the true weapons, would it really change my opinion on the character? Probably not. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think either way I look at it, this character to me is just not that great because there's just other characters that offer more. And as you see here, Haruto outdamaged Emmy, which is just kind of sad. One thing to note though is that Emmy is dealing lots of damage with her skills, right? You're saying, oh, okay, well, her skills are pretty much pseudo arts, right? And they're a little bit better than arts. If you really think about it, Emmy's actually a pretty cracked character on paper. So I wanted to redeem her. I was like, you know what? Nah, there's no way this is the case. So I went and I took her up against the Crest Palace to see maybe if it was a little bit different, right? Maybe Haruto wouldn't outdamage Emmy this time, and maybe I could see a little bit more with her. Another huge problem with Emmy, the mega skill, you know, what your skill actually becomes whenever you transform into Revelations, why doesn't that give you a ult orb, or a mega art orb, my bad? That makes no sense to me. It takes so long, the animation literally takes like 20 seconds to come out, and it doesn't give you anything. There's no reason for you to use your mega skill, like whatsoever, because it only does damage and it does nothing else. I guess the only good news about Emmy is that the fact that all of her animations are so slow that usually one of her morph skills will always be coming back up no matter which one you use, which I guess is a nice little touch to add so you can always be using a morph skill. And since we're on the topic of morph skills, let's talk about her Behemoth Claw. Behemoth Claw inflicts blind, as we talked about earlier in the video. The thing is, Behemoth Claw is also really quick, and this is probably the best way for you to build your mega art orbs. And even though Behemoth Claw is possibly the best way to build up your mega art orbs just because it's the fastest one, let me tell you how bad this skill actually is. So Behemoth Claw inflicts blind, all right? 80% chance to inflict blind, okay? If you inflict blind on a boss, pretty good, right? You get some extra damage because of her passive. Against any type of high difficulty fight, you will not be able to do this consistently. There is no reason for her to get a damage buff with her blind because in most situations, it's not going to stay on the boss long enough for her to actually do any damage. Another thing to point out too is that if you get frozen or paralyzed or fainted, GG, because guess what? You can't get out of your revelation mode to start building art gauge back up to go back into it until you're out of that status effect. So as you see here, Emmy's completely frozen. Look at that. She's just a straight popsicle. I may go up to her and ask if I can order an icy. I do enjoy me some Coca-Cola ices, even though I don't drink soda anymore. Actually, no, I think I like cherry icy more nowadays. And here's the thing, right? I don't want you guys to just think I'm blatantly hating on this character and just blatantly disliking her because, you know, I just don't like her design or something like that. That's not the case. I just really think this character is actually bad. And I hate that she is actually bad. For this to be the first boss character, the first new mechanic Global has seen in like, you know, years at this point, apart from the Phantom Bullet, of course. This is like the first, you know, new revolutionary mechanic. This is a completely new thing. We never thought it would happen where we have a transformation unit in the game. And she's so bad. Like, I don't understand why they were so hesitant with her, why they didn't go all crazy with her. I think that personally, give this character a speed buff. Give her like a 20%, maybe 30% faster animations. On top of that too, make one of her true weapons, instead of giving her 100 art gauge at the start of the quest, make it to where she starts in Revelations mode, because in my opinion, this character is just not good unless you're in Revelations. Or if you want to, you know, give us the option to pick between Revelations or not, make the true weapon give you 200 art gauge, so you can pick if you want to use the art, you can, and then go into the true art if you want to, you know, once you build up another 100 art gauge. I think if you do that, I would actually like this character. I think she'd be good. I really do. I think she'd be solid if she was faster and she was able to go in Revelations from quest start. If they ever implement buffs like that for her, it'd be insane. I want this unit to be good. I think her mechanic is cool, and if we ever get a character where they're not so scared to go crazy with them as a boss character, I think it would be dope. Maybe, you know, redoing Ifrit, giving him justice, let him be that boss character. I love Ifrit so much, man. He pretty much wore Greymon in this game. But that's all I want to say, man. I'll tell you what you all thought about Emmy down below in the comment section. That was my opinion about her. Maybe some of you guys have different opinions. Also, tell me down below, do you think my opinion would be different if I actually did use the true weapons? Or do you think like my opinion would probably still stay as is? But yeah, that's gonna be it for this one. Thank you all again for coming out. If you enjoyed this video, highly recommend check out either one of the videos popping up on your screen right now. Great content, guarantee you love them. And oh yeah, before you leave, don't forget to drink water.